wide open for someone to take that spotlight. And yet, even with her MVPs, her signature Nike shoe, and her highlight performances, she never drew the kind of emotional connection that Clark did in just a few months.
There's a reason people don't like you, A'ja Wilson, because all you do is complain. There's a reason people don't follow you, because you're boring and you complain. You have never made the game watchable for people. People didn't turn on basketball to watch you play. Not in the WNBA. Go look. Go see who's buying the tickets.
That doesn't make Wilson less talented. It just shows that marketability isn't only about winning titles. It's about relatability, humility, charisma, and how fans feel when they watch you play. But instead of looking inward, Wilson pointed the finger outward, at fans, at media, and ultimately at society. She essentially told the world, if you don't see me as marketable, you must be racist. That accusation didn't sit well with a lot of people, black, white, and everything in between. Because as one commentator put it, it can't always be about race every time. She injected a racial narrative into a conversation that had, until then, largely centered around performance, personality, and popularity. And the reaction was immediate. Sports commentators, analysts, and fans erupted with questions. Is Caitlin Clark really more popular just because she's white? Or is there a larger story being ignored? To answer that, we have to look at both athletes and what they represent. Caitlin Clark isn't just any rookie. She's a cultural phenomenon. Her attention, for investment, for media coverage. But now that it's finally here, thanks to Caitlin Clark, they're turning their backs on it. Instead of embracing the surge in viewership, many veterans are treating Clark like an invader, a disruptor, a threat. And A'ja Wilson's racial claim is just the latest example of a larger movement inside the league that seems more interested in gatekeeping than growth. Think about it. Clark didn't take anything away from Wilson. She didn't deny her a shoe deal, MVP vote, or title.
A'ja Wilson, she got a Nike deal, shoe deal. That shoe sold out fast. She's top-tier athlete. But is she as likable as Caitlin Clark in the eyes of casual fans? Not so much. And that's not a knock at her game. Her game is elite, but marketability isn't just about talent. It's about how fans connect with you.
Clark's only crime was bringing in millions of new fans who were finally excited about women's basketball. And yet, that excitement has been met with resentment.
WNBA star makes claims about race and money.
A'ja Wilson, the #1 victim because she's black.
Let's keep it 100% real here. Do you think A'ja Wilson is racist?
It's 100% about race.
A'ja Wilson just dropped a bomb, saying it's 100% about race when comparing her marketability to Caitlin Clark.
She's not marketable because she's a black woman. The reality is this: she's just unlikable.
And now the internet is on fire. Is this really about skin color, or is A'ja deflecting from the real reasons Clark is winning hearts and headlines?
That's not about race. That's about star power, narrative, and likability.
Caitlin Clark comes into the WNBA, goes through college. She has panache. She has style. Get over it. Get over yourself. Enjoy the ride, because make no mistake, it's Caitlin.
That backlash came from. It wasn't just angry fans or conservative commentators. It was longtime basketball supporters.
A'ja, you want your league to grow, but you don't want people to be able to talk about it and give commentary on it. If you're not gay and or black, they don't want you as a fan. Then your league will never, ever make money.
Former players, podcasters, and even WNBA watchers who had finally had enough of what they see as the league's growing culture of division and victimhood. One viral segment asked a very blunt question. If A'ja Wilson is constantly featured in ads, has a Nike deal, and is praised by the league, how exactly is she being oppressed?
When Caitlin Clark Nike deal was announced, A'ja Wilson tells the Associated Press, "I think it's a huge thing. I think a lot of people may say it's not about black and white, but to me, it is."
And that's where this conversation really exposes the deep identity crisis the WNBA is facing. The league has spent years fighting for relevance. Players have begged for college games, shattered viewership records.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers. We're talking about a preseason game against the Brazil national team drawing 1.2 million views.
Her arrival to the WNBA brought in national sponsorships, media attention, and ticket sales the league had never seen. Preseason games were sold out. Broadcast numbers hit the millions. And no, this didn't happen because of her skin color. It happened because Clark brought a fresh energy, a fearless style, and a connection with fans who saw in her the kind of passion and grit that transcends race. Meanwhile, Aja Wilson isn't new to this. She's a proven champion, a dominant force, and undeniably one of the best players in the league. But here's the truth many are pointing out. Aja had years to become the face of the WNBA. The league was
Clark's WNBA world, and Asia, baby, you're just a hanger-on to it.
This debate just got personal, and the backlash is massive. If you're a true Caitlin Clark fan, type 100% in the comments right now. Let's dive in. It all started with a quote that shook the WNBA fan base to its core. In an interview with the New York Times, Aja Wilson didn't mince words. She said, "It's 100% about race."
Instead of focusing on why you're not marketable, focus on why you should be and make the adjustments.
The New York Times recently released a lengthy profile of the Aces player, and again, she claims she's not as marketable as someone like Clark because she's black. It's 100% about race. She is showing everybody how it is done.
She was talking about why including some in the black community are starting to say, enough is enough. So where does this leave the WNBA? Instead of embracing the momentum Caitlin Clark has brought, instead of working together to grow the league, players like AJ Wilson are building walls. They're alienating fans. They're framing everything as a battle between black and white, when in reality, it's a story of likability, timing, and how stars rise in the eyes of the public. And make no mistake, Aja Wilson is talented, but talent alone doesn't make you marketable.
Honest to God, Caitlin Clark resonates because how she plays, but these clowns don't understand it. This is so stupid. This is so Aja Wilson.
If it did, plenty of other dominant athletes would be household names too. What makes you marketable is how you connect with people. And on that front, Caitlin Clark is leading by example, quietly, fearlessly, and without ever needing to play the victim. After Aja Wilson's comments went public, the backlash was swift. But what's even more telling is who believes Caitlin Clark is more marketable than she is. And according to Wilson, it's not about stats, performance, or fan appeal. It's strictly about skin color.
Doubling down on the notion that Caitlin Clark is more marketable than herself solely on race.
It's not just about being a great player. It's about being someone people want to root for, someone who draws people in.
That one statement lit up the sports world like a wildfire. Suddenly, it wasn't just about basketball. It was about race, identity, and who gets to be the face of a growing league. Wilson doubled down, saying that no matter how hard she works as a black woman, she and others like her are swept under the rug. In her words, people don't see black women as marketable, and that's why Clark is getting all the attention.
It says WNBA star Aja Wilson continues to make wild claims about race. Wilson claiming she's not as marketable as Caitlin.
So many people are saying, wait a minute, you're not being erased, you're being heard. But now you're turning that platform into a soapbox for division. What makes this even more troubling is how this rhetoric is influencing the league's culture. Players like Wilson are framing criticism as racism, and that's dangerous. Because now, if a fan simply prefers watching Caitlin Clark or finds her more exciting, they're labeled a racist. That's not a fair or honest debate. That's emotional blackmail. And it's pushing away the very audience the WNBA claims it wants to attract. In fact, one viral podcast clip nailed the issue perfectly. If you don't find Aja marketable, she calls you racist. Even if your reasons have nothing to do with race, maybe you don't like her attitude, her interviews, or how she carries herself, she'll still say it's because she's black. That logic is not only flawed, it's exhausting.
Do you know what gets exhausting? Listening to you constantly cry about race every single second.
And many fans include
Clark because she's black. New York Times recently claims she's not as marketable as someone like Clark because she's black.
But here's where the conversation takes a sharp turn. Because when you look at Aja Wilson's career, the numbers and accolades are nothing short of elite. She's a multiple-time MVP, a champion, a Nike athlete, and even has her own signature shoe,
A'ja Wilson, dominant player in the WNBA, MVP. She's got the resume. She got the game.
which sold out in minutes. That's not being swept under the rug. That's success by almost every metric. So the question becomes, why does A'ja still feel overlooked? Is it truly racism, or is there something else happening beneath the surface? Critics argue that it's not about race, it's about relatability. Caitlin Clark brings something fresh to the table.
You don't see them race baiting. You don't see them having a bad attitude. You don't see them
Up, giving respect. And even when she's targeted on the court, she never complains. Meanwhile, A'ja Wilson and others have resorted to what many see as victimhood.
A'ja Wilson has been on an absolutely historic victimhood run. Despite all of the success, despite all of the achievements, despite the Nike deal, despite the signature shoe, despite all of that, she still finds a way to call people who don't rock with her,
Blaming everything on systemic bias rather than looking at their own approach to fans and media. And the pattern didn't start this week. In past interviews, Wilson has made similar claims, suggesting that people don't rock with her because she's black. Even when she received major endorsements and was placed in commercials,
How many players in the WNBA are white that have endorsement deals besides Caitlin Clark and Sabrina Ionescu? Current WNBA players that have deals. Wouldn't have a clue. But A'ja Wilson will let you know that racism is why she doesn't have more.
she still pushed the narrative that black women are being erased. That's why
saying things.
Caitlin Clark changed the dynamic of the league, changed the way people view the league.
she's an underdog, a sharpshooter with swagger, and someone fans feel connected to. She's polite in interviews, fiery on the court, and magnetic in ways that go beyond color. She's captured a whole new audience, including young girls, casual fans, and even NBA watchers who never gave the WNBA a chance, until now. And that's what makes A'ja's comment so explosive. Because rather than celebrating the new wave of attention Clark has brought to the league, Wilson's words felt like a personal attack. Instead of unity, she's pushing division. And that's where the controversy really begins. When A'ja Wilson said, it's 100% about race,
A'ja Wilson talking about race and how she's being held down for being black. She goes out there yesterday and proclaims that you shouldn't talk about sports if you didn't play sports.
Reporters
time you don't get your way. And let's be honest, America has elevated countless black athletes to superstar status. Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, Simone Biles.
Some of the most popular athletes in the world are black, and they're racking in cash. Michael Jordan is a billionaire because of his relationship with Nike. LeBron James might be woke and unsufferable, but he's also probably the most recognizable athlete in America.
These athletes didn't just dominate their sports, they became global icons because they were captivating. They were charismatic. They knew how to engage with the public, and they embraced the responsibility of being a face for their league. They didn't cry racism when the spotlight hit someone else. They earned their spotlight through a combination of excellence, professionalism, and public appeal. That's the contrast fans are seeing now. Caitlin Clark isn't crying for attention. She's earning it. Through her game, her leadership, and her relentless drive, she's capturing hearts. She's showing up